Good evening, my friends. Today I am going to read the story A Handful of Flour, written by Ava Iyengar. It is an horror story. The Chinese shop lady shut the door of the store behind him. For a moment he stood bewildered, wondering why she had done that. He had just stepped in to see if he could persuade her to part with some flour. There were 5 bags of flour lined up with their mouths open, almost spilling their contents. Problem was, they seemed to have different characters in Chinese on them, so he knew they were not the same kind of flour. He wanted wheat flour. A passerby had pointed out the place to him when he had indicated to him that he wanted to eat something. The road was full of shops selling fruits, vegetables, fish, meat and other stuff. The smell was unfamiliar and overwhelming, making him sick to the stomach. He had walked into the shop hoping to get some flour and salt to make some rotis for himself by building up a fire with wood. But now his relief on spotting his shop had turned into dread. First of all, he didn't know which flour was which. They looked the same. Moreover, before he could ask, the shop lady had shut down door on him. Now he was shut in the small space with her. He, an immigrant laborer who had been thrown into this country and left to die, was already on his last legs, his eyes scared up. He didn't know her language and didn't know why she had enclosed him in this suddenly suffocating space. He stared at the flour, his mouth watering and his stomach grumbling. There was a smell in the room, the same smell he associated with Chinese cooking, a strange kind of fishy smell that he could not bring himself to stomach. Yet, if just now the lady had offered him a cockroach fried in that particular fishy smell, he would even eaten it without gagging. He was that hungry. He stared at her, his eyes asking her, "Why have you shut the door with me inside here?" He had wanted to ask her which flour and how much it would cost, and then appeal to her that he had no money but could do something in return, like some kind of repair work. He was good at that kind of thing, but he did not know how he was going to tell her all that when he did not know the language. When he saw the look in her eyes, he knew it was useless. But she was pointing in the flour and saying with her hands, "How much you want?" He could figure that out. He occupied his hands to show the quantity and watch her as she scooped some flour out of a bag and began to weight it. He was alarmed, for it did not look like wheat flour. He pointed to a bag that seemed to hold what he wanted. She gave him an exasperated look and put back the flour that she had begun to weight. Then she scooped up flour from the bag that he had pointed at and began to weight it. He wanted to tell her he had no money, but she had put it in a packet and was saying something in Chinese to him. His brain buzzed and he shook his hands to show he had no money. Her voice raised to a pitch now and she began to shout and scream. She was a little bird-like lady, but her voice was sharp and high-pitched, nasal too. He felt his eardrums would burst. Wanting out of this space, he turned and began to push at the door. A string of words hit and entered his back. They seemed to be making holes in his body, their sharpness lethal. He wiped the sweat that had formed on his brow and began banging on the door, screaming to be let out. Realizing that his language would not be understood by anyone outside, he began to scream louder, as loud as he could get, banging fist on the door and then his whole body trying to push the door outwards. He turned around now. "Let me out," he shouted at the lady. "Why have you shut the door?" She was continuing to shout at him, and her shouting was drowning his voice. Despite the shouting match, no one heard them, for no one tried to open the door and step in. She was pointing at the packet of flour that she had kept for him and shouting. Of course she wanted him to pay, but could she not figure out that he had no money, that he was a stranger to this place? He had been brought here to the pretext of a job for which he had paid all his savings, but he had been dropped off on the roadside and forgotten. Could she not figure out his helplessness? And why did she want to keep him inside her shop? She was moving towards him now, her eyes red. She was advancing towards him, and to his caged eyes, she looked like a little bird. He wanted to eat her, pluck her feathers out one by one. He thought of how they fried chicken at home. He could do that. The thought of eating made him aware of his hunger again, and he swallowed his saliva once more. His throat parched and dry, his tongue scraped dry, cracked lips. He pushed against the door hard, trying to open it somehow. As she came towards him, he pointed towards the door once more. "Open it!" he shouted at her, but she made a fist and shocked him in the stomach. She dragged him to a corner of the shop and let him lie there. Then she went inside. He lay there whimpering and could hear her muttering away in Chinese or whatever language it was that she spoke. He crawled towards the bag. He made a grab for a bag and put some of the flour in his mouth. It was so dry that he had to spit it, but some of it he licked into his mouth with his saliva. It tasted bitter, and he had to spit it out again. One of the bags had begun to leak, and he put his mouth forward to taste the trickle that flowed out onto the floor. It tasted awful, and he shook his head, driven mad with hunger and frustration. He crawled up to the inside door. He waited there. When he heard nothing, he crawled slowly into the darkness within. His eyes adjusting to the dark, he saw she was lying there on a mattress and seemed to be sleeping. He was amazed that he should be doing this, but since he had no way out and was tired himself, he crawled in and slept. He awoke in pain, screaming, holding his hand up to his face. Watched the blood drip from his little finger. His eyes moved wildly, and he saw her sitting there, sucking on bone blood around her mouth, his finger in her mouth. He had dreamed that she was sucking his fingers. He got up, running wild, scared, and ran to the door, hunched and pain in his stomach and in his hand intense. She got off the stool, following him slowly. He noticed the little white pieces on the floor now. They must be other bones, other fingers, something else too. His brain ran with thoughts crazed. He ran as well, for she was behind him. She overtook him and came and stood in front of him. Stern, she pushed him to a steady stand. He shook his head. "No, no," he screamed. Sure, she would suck him up, finger by finger. She reached for his hand, the unmaimed one. She opened the palm as he watched, stupid with shock. Then she reached towards the packet on her table. He recognized it. It was the packet she had made for him the day before. This she placed in his hand, opened the door of the shop, and pushed him out. The light hit him as he lay outside, clutching onto his packet. Then he ran into the street without looking back. sucking the blood from the place where his little finger had once been. It tasted sweet, sweeter than roti. Thank you. If you like my story, then please share, comment, like and subscribe.